Welcome to Tech at Lunch, the podcast that satisfies your hunger for all things tech while you enjoy your midday meal. So grab your sandwich, tune in, and let's dig in.
Hello, I'm Nick.
Hey, I'm John.
And this we're gonna we always do something every year where we kind of go in and we kind of look at what we did this year. I kind of wish Ed was with us to talk about this conversation, but
Yeah,
he's
we'll ask
taking.
him eventually.
Yeah, exactly. But we always take a time, at the end of the beginning of the new year to sit down and have a conversation about, what did we accomplish this year? What did we really get done this year? Um, and also, what is our new tech resolutions for, the upcoming year? So, like this year, that's what we kind of want to talk about now, and kind of something we want to kind of get into, have a little bit of fun with it, because 2025 is supposed to be really big on new tech type of stuff. So, and especially when you're talking about the world of just, STEM, you're talking about the world of AM, and you're talking about some other things. So, it could get a little interesting. So, with that,
Mhm.
what are you thinking?
Yeah, I mean, I'll start with last year's resolutions. I mean, of course, when you always want to reflect, and sometimes like yeah, of course you don't get to your goals, but that's not necessarily a failure. It can kind of move on to be the next goal as well. But one of the main goals that I kind of wanted to focus on was enrolling in school and kind of going towards that additive manufacturing learning journey, right? We've already kind of started printing and things like that, but you can always grow on that knowledge and start understanding there's so much more to what additive manufacturing can be and is currently, that it gets so much more in depth than you think. It's such a combination of so many different types of um, respective fields of study, right? So, honestly, that's one of the biggest things. If I'm reflecting back on last year, I started at Penn State in the fall, so it was something that always seems a little daunting, but can be done, right? And now I'm gonna start the next semester in a couple weeks, so that's also kind of getting over to what what next year is gonna be is passing those classes. But if I had to focus on kind of what last year, what it brought us, and brought me at least, and what it taught me is kind of perseverance through those things. I bought all the pieces for my smart things and getting my house connected to some more IoT devices. I have a Wi-Fi card that I got a few weeks ago or a few months ago, where I want to connect my garage door and some of my doors in the house to know if I left my one of my doors open, um, I can get some alerts and things like that. So that was something I wanted to do last year, but you know how um, time gets you, vacation, spending time with family, and then you end up realizing that we've passed through a year pretty quickly. So that was one of my goals was getting that set up, and of course I have all the pieces now, so I'll get to this in the next year. But before I go too far, because I kind of reflected back on last year's tech resolutions. I guess I was more focused on some internal projects, right? So if I had to ask you the same question, how was last year's resolutions? How did you fare?
For me, I kind of, set forth and said, hey, guess what? We're gonna do something big, just, not with just the company, but, internally, we did, I was able to hit, automate this past year, which was an absolute blast. Back in Chicago again, we did SEMA show this year, which, is in good old Sin City, Las Vegas, Nevada, which is always a fun time. Um, but
Distracting.
yeah, yeah, that is. And for me, school has always been one of those, I guess you could say, common denominators that haven't gone very long without being in school, and now I'm back in school again. Um,
Hmm.
so getting through the semester, getting closer and closer to dissertation time. Um, it was good to end the year with almost all of the core classes done. Um, So, it's just, little step by little step. But, we definitely played a little bit more with the 3D printers. We played a little bit more with the 3D scanners, and we got a little bit more intimate with robotics. So, for me, I hit the major wickets I wanted to do, but I was also able to take my tech resolutions from last year and turn them into a dissertation topic for my doctorate that I'm doing. So, that's going to be kind of interesting. That's going to be
Yeah,
a
something to build on.
elongated, version of a resolution, I guess. But, for me, it's been one of those things of where this year's been a journey. 2024 was a journey. Went to a lot of fun places, met a lot of fun people, and had a lot of conversations that we hoped would go to different locations and and in different areas. Um, and that that's why I kind of hope that we can continue some of those conversations this year. Hopefully lock in one that I've been trying to lock in for a while. We'll talk to them at Rapid, I think. Um, so there's that little bit foreshadowing. Um, so that's kind of what we kind of accomplish, what I kind of accomplished this year, I think. I got the Voron back up and running full time now, so I
There
guess
you
that's a
go.
bonus.
Yeah, things kind of blend together sometimes. I mean, it's the before you know it, it'll be next year, right? And some of these things happen so fast. It's hard. I mean, you were telling me earlier that it's you want to kind of document things or record things, but you got to live in the moment. You got to
Yeah.
enjoy it. So it's hard to get a lot of that stuff, and it kind of happens to you. Um, so you gotta take your opportunities, right?
Yeah, I definitely think that, it was, like you said, the missed opportunities last year. Having some of these conversations, not to record them, not to, really in depth, miss those to be able to share with people. But like you
Hmm.
said, live in the moment, have a little bit of fun with it, have those conversations that I love having, talking about tech, talking about cars. How do we integrate both of those? Have a little bit of fun with it, and like bring back the world of, not just CAD, as a normalcy, 3D scanning is a normalcy, um, but like programming, not just ECUs, but like CAN bus for some of these things, and then also like the battery tenders and stuff like that that people are using. It's those conversations, But this year, I think I'm gonna bite the bullet, spend the money on a smaller rig than what I've got. Um, my buddy Tim was with us in Vegas, and he has one of those Osmo threes from DJI.
Hmm. Hmm.
That's what we did our video, most of the video with, around the vehicle at SEMA this past year. So, I'm gonna be hopefully grabbing one of those, and we'll use that hopefully maybe when we go to Rapid, because it's actually pretty nice.
Wait, sorry. So explain a little bit more about you're saying this is a printer. This is
No,
a mod.
it's actually the DJI Osmo 3 is a handheld camera,
Oh,
but
okay, okay.
so it's a smaller than the ZVE10 that I've got. That they both can still record in 4K, but it's to have a pocket camera, recordable device on you.
Oh,
It's
something. Oh, yeah. Okay, I get it.
something that has a gimbal on it and all the other stuff. It does facial tracking. It does all that fun stuff.
Yeah,
But it's to make sure that those moments aren't just recorded for YouTube or recorded for
yeah.
for everything else, but it's recorded for the fun of it. It's recorded to so we can go back and look at those conversations that that were had, um, at that time, and kind of go back and learn from those conversations.
Yeah, that gives me like kind of an idea of some tech that I guess it's not necessarily a resolution. I mean, you always want to like I guess I could you know uh, put my beliefs for what my resolutions or my STEM or tech or AM resolutions in different categories, right? Um, learning is primarily always going on, like we said, like, and that's going to continuously. That's more of a long-term goal for us, but Of course, I want to kind of learn more about some drone technology and some of that the growth on that side because honestly we like when you brought up DJI, is it DJI?
Yeah, DJI.
Uh, uh, the first thing I should have thought of was drones and things
Hmm.
like that. So I mean I'm curious because the unmanned you know aeronautical vehicles is so much easier to kind of manipulate and work with and so much less risk than having a person anywhere near flying the machine or flying in the machine or the airplane. It just makes sense and having I think we talked about this previously is like we've wanted to build a drone
Hmm.
and there's several models. So I mean that could be a potential goal for us too, is to pick a model, a pre-planned model, and try to iterate or build upon that. And I think that that's like a project idea that would be pretty cool. So um, I mean. I wouldn't go so far as to say that's going to be my only resolution is to do something like that, but learning about the drones and how they're made and how they work is something that kind of piques my interest, right?
Yeah. And like you said, freaking the learning is always, first should, and for everybody should be first and foremost. Except if it's, hey, if you're doing between learning and family, go for the family side.
It's a hard
Um,
choice.
yeah, it can be. But the thing is always remember to have fun with it. I
Yeah.
think some people always tend to forget that they're learning, 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 and they're getting more and more stressed. And it's people forget just to sit back, take a breath, have a little bit of fun with it, joke around with it, have a good time with it, make mistakes, um, do something stupid, you know, don't hurt anybody, but if you gotta do something stupid, do
Yeah.
something stupid.
Make sure you have a license if you're flying something.
Yeah, yeah. If
Yeah.
your vehicle is over 500 grams, please get an FAA license. Um, and it's one of those things. It's it's have fun, but be smart. So when it comes down to mine, I think especially on the project side of the house. It's for me is again, like you said, just the learning part is always putting one foot in front of the other. Picking up something to learn it. Um, this year I kind of really want to get into like I wouldn't mind doing the drone stuff because I think that's just awesome. I think
Okay.
drones and like unmanned vehicles like you are just absolutely insane, especially if you're talking about using them instead of a shop standpoint, where it's moving things around your shop for you, or it's like a portable toolbox that's following you around like a dog. Um,
I mean, yeah, you think Iron Man, you think
right,
the robot arm that's in Iron Man that he's just talking to, that's his helper. Like he gets the parts, he helps him out. If he gets lit on fire, he puts him out.
right.
So yeah, the things that you can't. I mean, everybody needs help a little bit.
And it's like for me, I also think getting into different filaments. This year, something a little different. I've played with a couple.
Thinking about using it on the Voron.
Yeah, I think so. Um, definitely not using the polycarbonate, not the polycarbonate, but the polystyrene that I've got. I'm definitely not going to use that on the Voron. That's to be a bad idea. Um, so I'm actually going to be experimenting soon with. I'm going to try to do a lithophane with it. So we'll see how that goes. Um,
Okay.
the high speed PLA from Creality on the Voron. Um,
Now, what do you
just
mean by high speed? Like,
it's the high flow stuff. That high
okay,
flow PLA they have out now.
okay.
That's you remember at Rapid, the PLA they were printing with the X1 with the K1, that white
Uh,
filament they
I
were
know.
doing the
Yeah, I
zigzag
know what
with.
you're talking about.
Um, that one, the same filament that they're
Yeah,
using
cause,
there.
'cause when you say high flow, I mean, I'm thinking that maybe even a high flow nozzle, and that's kind of where my head goes is the nozzle that it has a different cut pattern for the end of the filament.
Hmm.
But I guess it makes sense if your filament is if your polymer is engineered to be um, to get to hold temperature more efficiently, then that would make sense that it flows quicker.
Yeah, I want to play with that this year. I'm going to do lithophane with it. So I want to see, how. how that kind of works with the hot end that I'm running. Um,
Okay.
so that, and who knows, I have said before that I've definitely thought about doing some sort of MMU for the Voron.
Hmm.
Um, so may end up doing a changer kit.
Okay.
So that's something. And then, of course, the Vulcanar Motorsports thing. I got it. We're gonna work on that this year. Get that going, and have a little bit of fun on the motorsports side of the house, I think.
Yeah, why not? Oh no, that sounds good. I mean, honestly, the Voron in and of itself is even kind of a long-term goal. It needs some love always. Um,
That it
so
does.
I was gonna bring that up too because since we've talked about lithophanes previously, I've seen personally lithophanes that show a bit more color and are not just that grayscale pattern
Hmm.
of a pure clear white. Now, that's of course, I was going to ask you about this, but you answered my question. With the MMU, of course, you would need an MMU,
Yeah.
right? And I think honestly, at that point, the only problem that I would say you need to solve anymore after the MMU is sustainability, or how you'll be able to, you know, uh, uh, purge and change filaments, right?
Hmm.
But I've personally seen a couple that it's pretty fascinating how just shining a light will create the colors on the lithophane, and it's pretty vibrant. So I mean, it's getting more advanced.
Yeah, I think I've seen those. I've been curious on how to make those. I've seen, like I guess they have slicers for it that'll do it
So
for you.
so yeah, like hear me out though. Like so, we're talking about additive. Additive starts out as inkjet printing, right?
Hmm.
And what is inkjet printing? It's just depositing layers of certain type of colors, like the inkjet printer or the ink printer at work.
Yeah.
When you think the colors of the toner, you're thinking magenta, yellow, cyan, and black,
Right.
right? So why can't I get an MMU, right, with four different types of filament that's magenta, cyan, yellow, and black?
Yeah.
And then
True.
I can create any different type of color that I want, right?
Hmm.
However, you think about you have to constantly combine different percentages of these things, and I think that it would be almost like purge hell.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Unless.
but you see where my head's at,
Hmm.
right?
And now this is the reason why I said, unless, because the way I'm looking at doing it, um, if you're familiar with the Voron ecosystem, or lack thereof, um, you have got to have heard of something called the stealth changer.
Hmm. Hmm.
So that is kind of the goal, is to do at least a single color or a dual color stealth changer, which requires no purging. You can leave the your lines loaded with different colors, and it just swaps the head out.
I was gonna say it's yeah, the nozzle swap is really where you win,
Yeah,
'cause like most other MMUs are just a Bowden tube swap, right?
right. And
Or
of course, we get the idea from what Brusa.
yeah, Prusa actually, yeah, no, they're one of the main ones that like I think have it figured out pretty much. Like so they have like separate hot ends that you can
Hmm.
get. Now, of course, all of these hot ends have to be direct drive, probably dual gear, dual gear,
Hmm.
so that it's more efficient. And I mean, I know that there's at least somewhat of a Bowden tube, but yeah, no, it's more efficient
Yeah,
entirely.
and that's the stealth changer idea for the
Right.
Vorons. Is just
Yeah.
swapping things out. It does take up a little bit of space, but
You sacrifice space for um, an MMU. I mean, we talk about it all the time. That's one of the main backfall or pitfalls is that um, you know, one color, that's it, or you have to paint it, or you have to print the color parts to fit in each other a certain way.
yeah,
Yeah, not many other options.
right. And that's kind of where it gets kind of overly complicated.
Yeah.
And hell, like the other day, I was happy that I got my lights finally working on my Voron. So you see where I'm at. Um, You know,
Yeah.
it's what happens when you don't check to make sure the GitHub was updated. Oh,
Yeah, you gotta
whoops.
check the Clipper repository is up too.
Mm. Yeah, my Clipper hasn't been updated in months. I'm afraid to update it because I'm afraid it's gonna crash my freaking uh, um uh Raspberry
Make
Pi.
At least make sure your solid your not your solid state your memory is or your storage space is free because if you can't put a log file somewhere, it won't even start up your Clipper connection.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to go in there and look at that. I'm gonna have to delete some things.
Yeah. I hit 8 gigs because I only have a tiny solid or SD card in there and it
Ugh.
wouldn't even start up anymore. So that's a lesson learned for you.
Yeah, yeah.
You
And
don't
now
need
that
to have 1,000 time time what is it lapses.
mhm.
Um, you can delete them if they're failures.
Yeah, I think mine's a 32 gig. I think I have in mine.
Okay, you might have a little bit more time. I mean, the STL files in and of themselves are not huge. It's like me recording a 4K video,
Uh,
or you know what I'm saying, and saving it onto it. It's like, okay, I know it's only taking a picture every level, so maybe 600 pictures, right? But that it makes that in compresses that into a GIF or some type of video file.
right. I just checked my other Raspberry Pi that I had sitting on the desk. It might be the same tag, the one that I have in there. It should be a 128.
Oh,
Um,
then you're good. I mean,
yeah.
you're not doing time lapses or anything like that,
No,
so.
no, no, no. I still got to
And
work on that whole mounting the camera inside the build chamber thing.
oh
Um,
yeah,
right now I have it sitting on the outside of the camera, outside the thing on a tripod.
there you go. I mean, hey, you do what you gotta do, right?
It works.
You do what you gotta do.
The only problem is the kit is like has tinted windows, so
Yeah,
it makes it quite hard without the lights on to see anything.
yeah, that makes sense.
So,
I mean, you gotta keep the light on up there too.
right, I do that. I did change out. I changed it out to an actual, dummy switch. That took longer than I actually
Yeah,
anticipated. Um, popped the
yeah.
fuse once, but hey, tomato, tomato. You know, now, everybody talks about, you know, experiences and stuff like that, that they want to kind of, tech experiences, STEM experiences and stuff like that. Um, that people want to have throughout the year. What's some of the things that you're trying to accomplish for on that
Oh,
front in 2025?
I've actually, and it kind of always goes back to school, but one of the courses that I have involve a lot of design for additive manufacturing. So I would like to get more into like the different um, like peripherals that you can use to like assist with your 3D modeling. I've looked at several types of like modeling mouse. There's one by Ultimaker, I believe,
Hmm.
Logitech. There's several like pads that you can use. I mean, of course, you can use your iPad, I believe now. Even if you get an iPad Pro, you might be able to do some scanning on that. To be honest with you, as well. It wouldn't be as good as purchasing a standalone scanner, but I think Polycam is still applicable to Apple products. So that's an option there. I was thinking about getting an iPad, but not necessarily like wanting to like make the big jump on the huge purchase. So I think I'm gonna go with some of the smaller ones. I'll get the pad and with the stylus
Hmm.
and start seeing if I can model by shaping and things like that. I kind of dabbled in it last semester with my mouse, but it's kind of felt weird. Trying to sculpt something using a mouse as opposed to you know maybe a pencil or chisel or anything other like you can grab specific points with and manipulate. And then of course the smart mouse or mice that can extrude and have specific macros already programmed in. It's some things that that's pretty interesting to me to do, and I mean even maybe even VR at a certain extent
Hmm.
of if I'm trying to model something that's actually like I have kind of AR overlaid over what my desk's looking like. Those are some of the things that like I would like to experience, and of course I set myself a challenge, and the challenge is actually finishing my Voron, and getting it to print. I mean, to be honest with you, I'm so dang close to it right now. It's ridiculous that it's not working, but once that happens, I'm with you on the MMU thing. I think that it's not difficult to have one, but I think the Voron 1.0 is so small, I don't really necessarily need more than two
Hmm.
inputs, but the possibility of having that exchanger, or that multiple material unit is fascinating too, because I've personally seen one of my friends who just recently got into uh, the realm of 3D printing, and I say recently, but it's been a couple years. He started with an Ender 3, was it S1, which is kind of an upgraded Ender 3 Pro, which
Hmm.
is like, so he started with the Sprite hot end.
Oh, okay, yeah.
It's pretty durable, pretty impressive. I mean, a couple weeks ago he ran like a 3-day print, and it finished it like a champion. So I think that he's gonna have some calibration to do afterwards, because if it was hot for that long, there's gonna be some
Mm,
things off. But at the end of the
warpage.
day, it ran, and he upgraded to a Bamboo Labs, and he's not looked back since getting that. He's starting to make his own um, light boxes. He's starting to make his own articulating designs, and I think that's where it starts. So I kind of envy him a little bit, because we oftentimes, I mean, me, you, Nick, we get into the making, and how we figure out how the stuff works, and we take it apart and put it together, and take it apart and put it together, and then at the end of the day we're left with the same thing. Whereas if I would get a full functioning turnkey solution, like, imagine the ability that you can grow on, in that sense. And I think that that's kind of the experience and direction that I would like to go in. He's the one who kind of gave me the first thought about the multicolor lithographs too.
Hmm.
And honestly, he inspires me to kind of want to do those, just like you inspire me to want to keep tinkering. So it's kind of the best of both worlds on that side. Like, finishing the Voron is not only a challenge, a hurdle, but it's a necessity for me to be able to get to my next challenge. So I gotta get this thing out of the way. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, you've been
It's
saying it a little bit.
it's staring at me right now. It's right next to me. It's been sitting next to me since I want to say November, and staring me down. So I'm tired of this thing looking at me. I need it to be printing something.
I can understand that.
Yeah. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, what about you, man? As far as experience, I mean, I know we talk about you went to a few conventions, and some shows and
Yep.
stuff like that, and you got to meet and kind of rub shoulders with some of the people who are in the industry now. Personally, I think that that's an invaluable experience, because just talking to some of my classmates on that work in additive uh, currently as well, it's nice to get the viewpoint of someone that's seeing it from the ground up and actually behind the scenes. But how did you want to grow on that? Do you have? I mean, it sounds like you already have plans for this year on a few shows, but are you changing your approach, or how, what are you kind of excited for?
I think this year is gonna be, last year we did, I did,
It was your
automate.
first time SEMA as well, right?
Right, it was. So of course, SEMA is going to be definitely another one. We're going to definitely go back to SEMA. I think that's going to be on the yearly rotation. Um, but the good thing that we have going on this year is, Rapid is in Detroit, so definitely going to make it try to go to Rapid instead of
Hmm.
Automate this year. Because we missed Automate or missed Rapid last year.
Well,
Um,
so yeah, sometimes you got to make
and
sacrifices, right?
But we also get lucky because South Tech is back. So South Tech is going to be back in Greenville this year. So definitely want to go up there, go talk to the guys that are working in CNC, um,
Yeah.
and kind of get, my head around a lot of the CAD CAM stuff.
Yeah, I was gonna
That's,
say, South Tech. Do you mind going a little bit
yeah.
more in depth on
Um,
what's
South
expected there?
South Tech is a very large, isn't really additive? No. It is more subtractive. It's a subtractive manufacturing show. with a lot of the robot manufacturers, a lot of CAD CAM guys, um, and then a lot of the CNC manufacturers, like Haas brings out a big thing. A couple other people bring out really big robots. 2 years ago, that's when we saw the Haas system, where they have a 3D printer inside the Haas machine. So you're doing additive and subtractive at the same time. So that's kind of something that, hopefully they're bringing back. This coming years from Philips Additive. You also had a lot of the Utilimaker guys out there, showing their stuff. It really is a show based on the um, the subtractive side of the house. So it's a lot of CNC work. And kind of this year, I kind of want to look into that. I kind of want to look into um, the CNC side of the house, the CAD CAM a little bit more. I've been playing in Shaper 3D, which if you do get an iPad, I highly recommend getting Shaper 3D because it does work with a pencil and it is great for tinkering at the airport, especially if you're working through things. I was able to fully design a um, piston head cup holder um, that I
Nice.
use, but and I can barely draw a circle.
Oh,
So
you made that with Shaper
yeah,
3D?
I made that with Shaper 3D.
Oh, nice.
Um, I did it with good set of calipers. A lot of trial and error, especially on the calibration side,
Yeah.
trying to open it up in full 3D models and take a look at it. The good thing about Shaper 3D, if you have a student login through Shaper 3D, you can download your stuff as STLs, which is pretty nice. Or it's free, depending on how you look at it, or you got to get the plan. Um, so it's one of those things. I definitely want to get into like SolidWorks a little bit this year. And some of the video editing software I kind of want to play with. I'm not very good at video editing. I'm not very good at editing anything. So kind of want to play with that a little bit. And like you said, the funny part is you were talking about the CAD mouses. I've definitely looked into those, the UFO mouses, the little circle ones.
Hmm. Yeah.
Um, I've looked into those. So I've definitely had my eye on a couple of them. It's one of those that you kind of look at and you're like, I don't know if I want to spend the money on it, but you need to. Um,
Yeah, they're not too expensive, but they're just expensive enough that you're like, do I need this? Will I use this?
right. And this year, of course, I want to break out the 3D scanner a little bit more. Um, and really utilize that this year on a couple projects or just random designs and I want to go. So going to be playing with that. I know they just came out with another brand new one, but I'm not going to jump that deep into it right now.
Well,
So
they're always gonna upgrade them as much as they can.
yeah, and I believe Revo Point does eventually have a trade up program, where they'll allow you to trade the newest model um,
Well,
for
that's a
a
fantastic
discounted
idea.
rate. So I may look into that because the new one they just came out with does require you to be plugged into a PC, which kind of sucks. So I do like my one that I have, so it is I don't need to be tied to anything. Um, so it might be one of those where you gotta fight the argument of having one of each, because one is it's a blue light scanner and stuff like that, so it's a little bit better than others.
Hmm.
But that's something here nor there. I've got to have a small project that I want to get done this year as far as for an experience is my nephew is autistic,
Hmm.
um and I'm making him slowly but surely designing. He does online school,
Okay.
so and what we've noticed is kid's too smart for his own good. So he knows how to get out of games and stuff, out of off things on his tablet, so he can go play video games instead of do schoolwork. So, oh shit. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to build him an application on a Raspberry Pi, tie it to and not just his schoolwork application, but I want to kind of do one for like a learning game or something like that for him. And I'm going to put it on a Raspberry Pi, so it's all be through Linux. So I know I can lock it down so he can't outsmart it. And hook it up to a touchscreen panel. So, he can do all of his schoolwork like he would on a tablet. It'd just be a 35-inch to a 55-inch TV that, he's playing on. And then they also have the whiteboard application on Linux, dinosaur learning game on Linux and stuff like that. So that'll all be on there for him. So, kind of finish that up for him this year. I think is hopefully in the next couple months actually. So it's kind of an experience I want to get done
Yeah,
this,
that's nice. Yeah, no, it's nice. I mean, to be honest with you, it's a project because I was gonna step and ask the next question on what some of the goals as far as STEM is involved, and
hmm
and how you plan on kind of attempting to help others along in that STEM journey if there is one. We talk often about wanting to promote that, but we could also do some tutoring, and we get in situations where I hate feeling preachy to my friends and family and talk to them about stuff, but I'm starting to get some of my friends and some of their coworkers even to where they're actually listening and they're like, "Oh, that's fascinating." Like I met someone the other day that works at Michelin, and we had we just work at factories, and we don't. I mean, we don't technically work on the same things because they're making the tires, but the way that he spoke about the material is the way that we speak about our materials and our feedstock.
hmm
So that chemical scientist that's working on development of some of our end products is right along the lines of some of our goals and kind of the STEM initiative and the STEM and prerogative that we want to push, right?
hmm
So having more conversations like that and kind of bringing my friends and family up to speed on a lot of this is also something that I've been pretty proud of so far, and I want to continue that because I've already convinced somehow most majority of my friends from college and some from even high school that they need a printer.
Yeah,
you
makes
know?
sense.
So, I mean, yeah, so just in the sense of, hey, look at how many opportunities you have to make something that's unique to you. And it's not too difficult to like if you don't want to tinker, you get a turnkey solution, like and get right to the meat and potatoes of what you want your
Yeah,
project to be.
that I
Just
can
showing
understand.
people just showing my mom what home appliances in her house that I was like, Mom, you bought an entire new washer. I can print this piece and this thing will be running immediately. This washer still works. The gear is ground out. I don't know why it's plastic, but I'll make another one. We could even machine a metal one at a certain point too. So, I mean, that's kind of the essence of a maker and trying to promote that STEM and some people would call me a cheapskate, but or a hoarder, but it's a tinkerer. You keep that because you can fix that later, right?
Exactly.
Yeah, I could fix that. I still get there's still worth in that. You don't have to throw something away just 'cause, you know, a piece broke. Like when you can become the maker of that piece, there's a lot of possibilities that open up.
hmm I can
So,
agree with that.
yeah, I don't know if eventually we want to probably as an organization. I mean, you STEM Motorsports, right?
hmm
Yeah, it's something that you or Vulcanar Motorsports. It's something that you
Yep.
want to kind of promote and build upon, anyways, right? So is I think that's pretty clear. But is there any specific goals on that side? I know you just started on this, and it's really like early.
The good thing about the Vulcanar Motorsports platform that I kind of, created and, that I hope everybody else jumps in on, a little bit,
Hmm.
is we have a forum. We can create, where people go have conversations, ask for help. If you're working on 3D printing projects, you can ask for help. We'll see it, or at least, get more people on there to see it. Um, and then, along that same thing, we can offer courses on there for people. We can have the ability for people to request time to actually, hey, do you have a couple free minutes to have a conversation, about um, about this and stuff like that. We kind of want to really push that envelope a little bit, utilizing the STEM Motorsport side. Really try to get people interested, not in just the art of, building something or building a vehicle or building a motorcycle or something, crazy. But it's how do you get into additive manufacturing, 3D printing? How do you get into subtractive manufacturing a little bit? How do you get into CAD CAM? How do you get into, the entire thing? With Vulcanar Motorsports, it's, how does STEM build a vehicle? It's teaching kids that, hey, guess what? Or even adults that, hey, it's okay to tinker. It's okay to build something. It's okay to build your dreams. If you want to go out and buy, let's say a Civic Type R, but it doesn't have the body kit you want on it. To build that body kit for yourself, either through a 3D printer, 3D scanner, or something like that, or go out and buy it and build it and put it on yourself. It's okay to build. It's okay to tinker. It's okay to have individuality and use STEM to achieve that goal. And so, it's kind of that. It's kind of,
Yeah.
having fun with it. It's showing people that STEM is not boring. And it's also, getting the message out there, because, the thing is, whenever I do get a vehicle done for some of these, these long rallies, I'm looking at doing hot rod power tour. It's a 3,000, it's a what, 1,500 mile, 1,500 mile road trip,
Okay.
and that vehicle will have Vulcanar Motorsports on top of it, on the windshield of it. And it's, but the thing is people may ask, well, hey, what is that? And I get to have the conversation with them. I get to tell them that, hey, guess what? Some of this stuff is actually 3D printed or modeled off of a 3D printer and then covered in something else, and stuff like that. So it's, hey, how do I do a STEM 32 control board, put in a vehicle and monitor different stuff with it. um how do you kind of do that? But the big thing is with the Vulcanar Motorsport side is we have another blog over there where I kind of cover a lot of the STEM related automotive side of the house. So it's a lot of the, hey, this is why you need this. This is what you can do with this. And then also, the ability to have courses on there, the ability to have a entire community, because that's what we're trying to build. We're trying to build a STEM and motorsports community where people can have fun with it. And then, we're also going to do iRacing leagues. So we eventually going to look into how I can do that to get people involved in some iRacing and stuff like that. So people can really get, have some fun with it if they're, into it. It may not even be iRacing. It may be like a Corsa, ACC, or something like that.
What do you mean by iRacing?
The virtual racing. So
Like not like the drone racing, because I've
no,
seen drone racing with the goggles and
yeah.
AR,
Yeah,
VR.
sim racing is what
Yeah.
everybody calls it. iRacing
Oh, okay.
is an application that people are using for it through Steam, and also, like I said, a Corsa also has the ability to have racing and stuff like that on board. So that type of stuff. We want to have fun with it. Um, we really hope that people want to get involved in it. We're definitely all for it. Jump in, freaking let's have a couple conversations, have some fun with it. It's not like just mind your p's and q's and don't be dumb. It's
Yeah, right.
really
I
the
mean, which is, it seems simple, right? But sometimes it is very difficult to not be dumb or to. It's easy to be complacent. I should rather, you know.
yeah.
So, and we challenge everybody to kind of want to drive to do better and want to, you know, even if it's something small you're giving back to your community, like it's something that you should be you want to be a contributing member of that community. And if it goes towards them, I think that that's even more important to the growth of not only your community but the greater community or city that you live in. Because to be honest with you, the people that are going to be upgrading or doing good, it starts with us. And I mean, yeah, the end goal is always nice to be able to provide for yourself and your family, but it shouldn't be at the with backbreaking labor or something that's not fun to you or you're passionate about. So at the end of the day, following some of that STEM, I think it's a great path, and I don't think you're gonna go wrong in that side.
And it'd be fun to set up kind of like a live stream to sit down and have a conversation about STEM, especially once we get a lot of people on the forums and stuff like that. Have that conversation where it's like, hey, let's do a print along real quick. Let's design something, have some fun with it. Let's teach something.
Right.
or if you're in a city with a bunch of people, for example, if you're in Vegas when SEMA hits, or in Detroit when Rapid hits, sit down and let's have a conversation and kind of tinker, have those the conversations about why we do what we do. Why did
Yeah.
we get into additive? Why did we really jump into this?
I think that
And
would be a nice goal to have, is to have a conversation with anyone who's listened, that just to kind of think about, like, just from the outside looking in, because we're so ingrained in a lot of this, um, some of the ideas and some of the things that we've seen, and kind of the angles and innovation that we can attest to, that like it's always nice to get a fresh set of eyes, and a fresh opinion, or view of what AM could be, what manufacturing as a whole could be, and what STEM is, what
right.
STEM can possibly attain for everyone. Because at the end of the day, I think that I know some people don't like STEM and they want to do, more artistic, which makes it STEAM, but or just want to go into like construction, which we need those people, right?
Mhm.
At the end of the day, everybody's gonna end up working together. So, um, being able if it's you're passionate about something, it makes it easier to learn it. Being able to contribute that knowledge and that passion to, any projects is always nice to even hear about, right? So if we find someone that has like a passion project, much like how Ulendo, we enjoyed that conversation with them. Like, we always want to have some of those, and I think that that'd be a nice goal for us too. I mean, I think that it would be a hit, and it would be very interesting to have some type of racing, tournament as well, um, to where everybody gets to see how it works and stuff like that.
Yeah,
Bring your own gear if we need to, and things like that. So we can figure that out.
yeah,
But I'd start with, or I'd even settle for a conversation.
yeah. And the thing is that in iRacing, if we do one of the sim racing things, if we do a tournament, guess what? I'm willing to throw in an Ender 3. If you're here in the US, I will send you we will s- whoever wins the entire tournament, I'll send you an Ender 3. And that's it's we get you into printing if you're not already in it. But
Right?
that's something that's always out there. But and like you said, it's have those conversations. It's checking the ego at the door. It's realizing that you can learn from everybody.
Yeah.
And it's it's like even people that aren't into STEM, you're still learning something from those folks, because you're kind of learning what um what we did wrong when we first developed the idea. Because if not everybody can understand it, then why develop it? And it's kind of one of those things.
Yeah.
But
It's yeah. What was the purpose?
right. And I really hope that this year, there's also a lot of bit of fun, a little bit of social activities and stuff like that. It's like you go to Penn State, and I've
Yeah.
spent my considerable amount of time in that location. Um, but they're rebuilding their stadium, as we
Oh
go.
yeah. They just
So
demolished the press box.
the press box is down, and that side stadium where the seating is
Yeah.
coming down. This is seating that I usually sit in when I'm up there for games. It's on the home side
Yeah.
of the field.
It's
Um,
crazy to think about.
so but the thing is they're saying by the start of the 2025 season, we will have at least temporary bleachers up there to hold the 100+ thousand people that we have in that stadium at all times. And so I hope this year get to go up there and go see that, and have the
Hmm.
enjoy that time and that wonderful location. And who knows, maybe talk to a couple of professors there, have a little bit of conversations, just like Purdue. I go to Purdue now for my doctorate. I kind of want to get up into that area and go take a look um at what they're going on up there, especially with some of the smart manufacturing labs they have. And then it's kind of funny because along with the Vulcanar Motorsports thing, you always have an opportunity to learn something new. I've never been to an Indy 500 race. I've never been to an
Oh,
IndyCar
nice.
race. So my goal is to go to an IndyCar race, experience IndyCar and learn something new during that time at IndyCar. But I get lucky because I may go ahead and call the professors that's in charge of the motorsports engineering team, motorsports engineering department at Purdue that has a office built into the Indianapolis Motor Speedway.
Yeah.
So to be able to have those conversations. And, it's also, I've never experienced, well, we did a little bit at SEMA, but never been to a full Formula Drift event. So, we've kind of looked at doing Formula Drift, either at Road Atlanta and over in Atlanta or down in Orlando at Speed World. Um, Formula Drift is the professional drifting, side of the house, controlled slide, you know, and to be able to go down there and see how those guys do it, angle kits and all the other fun stuff, is everything's about momentum and momentum and horsepower, but the thing is, if you think about it, when you enter a turn at a 45-degree angle and you're sliding the rear end of that vehicle, how much force and momentum are you carrying into that turn to keep those tires at the high rate of speed you're doing, with over 1,000 to 1,500 horsepower under the motor, in the motor to cook those tires around that turn as fast as you can and do it effortlessly. So that for me, the engineering that goes behind that is always a fun part.
Yeah, I mean, and to me, um, it's the adrenaline you get from testing that too is in getting something right. It's so akin to like being the driver
Hmm.
and living it, you know? So that's why I think that it makes sense that those two kind of coincide with each other, like being able to contribute to the process and as well as the power of the machine and then also experiencing it. It's nice to it's nice to live, you know.
Yeah. STEM and motorsports, I'm telling you, you live in the world of the shit
It's a
moment.
great match. Yeah,
Right.
yeah. What was it you were showing me the other day? Somebody completely they 3D printed almost the entire frame.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They did the entire exhaust too. That's the exhaust from the turbos back. Everything was 3D printed at SEMA. The vehicle's 15 to 20, what, 15 to 1600 horsepower, and it was all Iconal steel printed. And it is absolutely nuts. The thing is additive manufacturing and 3D printing right now is on the cusp of doing big things. And, we hope and hope and hope and hope that, the people listening want to get into that, want to have fun with it. If you've recently seen, I know you watch it,
Hmm.
Tested, right? I'm
Yeah.
Savage.
Right. Right.
He just got a new printer.
Did he?
He
Oh,
did.
I didn't seen that one yet.
He got kind of the one that I've always wanted. But having a reason to spend that money is another thing. Would love
It's
to
probably a
experience.
large machine, right?
No, it is from Formlabs. It is the SLS printer.
Oh, okay.
It's the nylon SLS machine.
Okay. Yeah, 'cause I remember him trying the 3L or the previously or
Yep.
the large printer and he made his Mandalorian armor off of it.
Yeah. Like I
Pretty
would
pretty
love to
cool.
have be able to play with that type of stuff, but you know gotta make money to spend money. And then
It's true.
it's one of those where it's like do you get into that or do you get into CNC and stuff like that? You play with it that way.
Yeah. I think it's nice to get it in both sides. I mean, we talked about the X tool too, and having one machine be able to achieve all of those things. And
Hmm.
I mean, if we get a deal on something like that, maybe there's a Black Friday deal next year or something at the summer deal. We could
Yeah.
get a nice machine like that. I think personally, once I finish the Voron, and since it's so close to it, it's hard for me. I've already started looking at the Core One from Prusa. So I mean, getting that next one that's a constant printer up, perfect turnkey solution, and also like fits like a glove with the development and printing that I'm used to. It's kind of dangerous.
Yeah, either that or just upgrade to a bigger Voron.
Listen, I have only but so much of a tolerance for pain. And you know what? The project staring you in the face, not being done for a very long time, and being unable to figure out why, and or knowing why, but unable to like get it to cooperate with you. Yeah,
Mm.
it's. I don't want that times two or four or whatever the size difference is. No, thank you.
Yeah,
Maybe eventually. I'll get the 2 point what is it? The 2.6 or if they're doing it like software
they're
releases.
supposed to be coming out with a CNC machine based on a Voron, so we'll see how that
Oh
goes.
wow.
But and it's like you said, the Core One, I've eyeballed that one
Yeah.
myself. It's just one of those things of, do I need it? Probably not. Do I want it? Uh-huh. You know,
Yeah, exactly. It would be nice. It
and
would
it's
be
like
nice.
it can print ABS while I have my Voron down doing repairs. And
That's
it's
that's the whole reason I want it.
it's one of those things. And who knows? Maybe get into some nylon. So we'll see. You
Oh,
know.
some nylon wouldn't be a bad idea either. So,
Yeah, yeah. Now they got the new stuff out. They got some new polymers out there for nylon and stuff like that. So it's supposed to be easier to print. It's like a nylon that prints like a PLA. So
huh. Do you need ventilation?
I think you need a little bit, but not by much.
Okay. Just curious, that's all. I mean, and I feel like it's probably going to be more durable.
Yeah,
So,
I don't remember the exact name of it.
okay.
Um, checking. Maybe I can find it. It's the like PA6, I think it is. Yeah, it's called Easy PA Filament from Sunlu.
Okay.
So
Easy PA?
yeah, the Easy PLA, and then
PLA.
yeah,
Okay.
no, sorry, Easy PA, Easy PA, and then Polymaker's got one. It's called the Fiberon PA6 glass filled filament. It's supposed to be
Okay.
another pretty
Wait,
simple one.
glass filled?
Yeah, glass filled nylon.
Huh. See, and that's the thing is like every year they're gonna develop different types of filaments. I remember conductive. I remember
Hmm.
the metal or metallic filaments. I remember carbon fiber infused, and then um, a lot of these peaks and things like that combinations. It's pretty cool to see just in the material science side. Is I learned a lot more this year on some of the metals and just seeing the phase changes of these metals at their melt pools and all the melt pool dynamics as overall
Hmm.
like it's hard to fault the use of additive in the metal space or the manufacturing the world, because we can affect so much with just ultrasonic um 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 I guess what is it? You're sending ultrasonic waves and it's compacting the grain structure.
Hmm.
I can't remember the exact name for the process, but printing something in a fashion to where with a certain material that is already inherently stronger, and then combining that with a post-processing method to make the grains fine and equal acts is difficult to do, but it increases the strength and durability of the materials. Just even combining those sciences and testing those things out, it takes an immense amount of time. So I'm excited to see when it's gonna come next year, even in just the material sciences on the metallic powder side, because not all vendors make the same metal alloy
Right.
powders.
Look at what they're doing in 3D printing in NASCAR. Um,
Yeah.
NASCAR's jumped pretty big in that. F1 is huge into additive, and same thing with some of the the bigger programs out there. Ferrari, Lamborghini, and those guys. Really big into the additive space. And like you said, the material science this year is probably going to get bigger because as the machines get bigger, the machines like we missed Rapid this past year, so we don't know exactly what these people are showing up with. But they're going to start releasing a lot of the vendors here soon, telling us who's going to be showing up at Rapid in April. Um, so I have a feeling it's going to be pretty extreme, just out of a thought.
That's exciting.
Yeah, it's always, and the good thing is one of the good thing about Rapid is it can be a pretty good party. You have to, the social events, the ability to sit down with these people and actually talk to them. Get in touch with the guys from, Nvidia and see what they're doing on the slicer side because they're working on something. They're already working on
Yeah, I mean
automotive stuff.
their amount of even their AI side of the house is growing so much too.
Yeah, it's insane, And the thing is that's when you start dealing with bigger and better, machines, the industrial level machines, the industrial level cleanings and stuff like that. These guys get to do. It's pretty wild.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that's impressive. So yeah, I mean, honestly, that's the majority of what I would have planned. It's difficult to see too far into the future, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, no, that makes sense to me, and I think that I think that it's fun to just kind of push in the innovation side and learn some more things. I mean, um, just look at the growth of AI in and of itself in machine learning. I saw even a Humble Bundle, if you're ever familiar with that, that came through the other day, and it donates to charities as you buy packages and things. And the
Hmm.
book bundle, I've bought it a couple times. It's this time it's on machine learning,
Oh,
right?
really?
So that would be something that's
Hmm.
fun to learn and fun to kind of teach yourself. And that's a challenge, but I mean, the only thing you can do is take a step in that direction of challenging yourself to kind of see what you're capable of as well. So find something that you like, and I think that I would be interested in hearing some of your guys' projects and goals for and resolutions for the new year. I mean, honestly, you don't really need a new year to have a goal in your mind, so you can just set that goal at any point and kind of chase after it. But if you had to say one, I'd be honestly curious to hear some of those responses too. Um, I mean, we do it all the time. We come up with random ideas during the week, right? So
Yep. And I'm right there with you. So I was also looking up the
yeah,
Humble
you're
Bumble
trying to see
stuff.
humble
Um,
bumble.
not just because it's kind of interesting name, but the thing is, it's good for a good cause.
Yeah, it donates. It donates. Like I think most of the proceeds get donated to,
Yeah,
and it shows you what charities and whatnot. And it's yeah, the one for the books I always take a peek at. There's software ones too, which are nice, but
hmm
um, I
yeah,
get
but
the emails actually.
I saw the ones you said that you're talking about, the machine learning engineering masterclass.
Yeah, I'm trying to see.
Yeah,
There's a bunch of coding ones.
all right, I'll have to look into that. Are those
So yeah,
all ebooks? I think.
I'm not entirely sure. You'd have to. Each one is a little bit different. So I
Oh,
mean, you would have to take a peek in. Some of them are comics. It looks like some are just audiobooks. So yeah, just something to kind of
that
take a
works.
peek at. See if you can even like put it on a Kindle if you have a Kindle
Hmm.
or on some type of tablet if you need to.
Yeah,
But
I'll get on the iPad Air that I've got.
yeah, yeah. Why not, right?
Yeah,
Why not?
and and like you said, y'all let us know what you're working on. What you're tinkering with, what your goals are for this year. We kind of want to see it. Go join the forums over at Volcar Motorsports and show us what you're working on. Take a picture of it, show it to us. If you're having issues with it, ask. We'll be more than happy to jump in and kind of give you an idea. Kind of where you might be going wrong. And just make sure there's context to it. Just don't send us a picture of a spaghetti monster and expect us to know what the heck's wrong with
Help.
it. Right, right. If your printer's printing help, there's probably another reason
Help.
behind it.
Help.
All right. Um, so, and it's one of those things is, go out there and learn something. Have a little bit of fun with it. I think this is going to bring us towards the end, and the thing is, get out there and have some fun. Enjoy something new, learn something new, get your feet wet. Um, and the thing is never stop striving for the next best thing. Take one goal, accomplish, move to the next. Take one goal, move on to the next. Grow your internal library of knowledge that you have, and then expand on it. Find a project to tinker with. Be proficient at one of those things. Get your hands dirty.
Yeah.
But the thing is I want to. I just looked at the stats. We're at 3,378 all-time listeners, and I couldn't be happier. We took a little bit of time off because of the holidays, but we're back up again, doing it again, having a little bit of fun with it. And we hope to bring you along to some of the events that we're going to, like you've heard last year. So that's definitely something we're going to be planning on. Um, so, I want to say thank you to every single one of you. Um, go out there, learn something, have some fun with it. Let us know what you're working on. So, I'll turn it over to Champ. Y'all have a good one.
Yeah, yeah. So I always echo I'm very appreciative to have the platform. Hearing what everybody wants the direction to be as well. If they're curious on any topics, is always nice. We can deep dive on anything. I think we're in school researching stuff and kind of picking up topics nonstop, even in our work life. So we kind of like when we get that wild hair, don't mind chasing it down to a solution, right? So don't be discouraged. You reach out for help, and honestly, we like a challenge. So if you have a big problem, why not, kind of come to us with it, and stay tuned on some of the other things. I know Nick's already been working feverishly on the STEM Motorsports or the Volcanara Motorsports side of the house, and getting kind of prepped to kind of bring that to you guys. But yeah, if you've got anything that's dealing with any of the other topics, printed heritage, if you have lithophanes that you're curious on, things like that, reach out to us. We don't mind kind of looking at it and seeing if it's an area we need to improve on or something that you want to improve on and learn about. It's all interesting to us, so reach out to us, and I'd be excited to hear back from you guys. But yeah, for going into the next year, yeah, I mean I can't guarantee I'm going to every single convention, but it would be nice to go back to Rapid. I definitely enjoyed my time when we went there last time, so I think that's honestly something that would be worth it for me. I don't know if financially I'm able to kind of just go to across country all the time, but Detroit's not too far, right?
Yeah, it's a pretty
so
easy flight.
so yeah, it's better than kind of flying across to California for us. But it would be nice to have one of those and be a part of one of those, just to even see the area, and because I've never been to Michigan. I mean, not saying it's gonna be, Hawaii or anything, but you get to see the different cities, and it's nice, and learning AM is pretty cool too. So yeah, stay tuned, guys. But looking forward to kind of keeping this going for you guys, and if you have anything that you want to reach out to us about, you know how to do it. All right, stay tuned, guys.
All right, y'all. Have a good one.
That's all for this episode of Tech at Lunch. Thanks for tuning in and joining us for this tech-filled lunch break. We hope you enjoy the show, and don't forget to subscribe on all channels. And also, you can find us on YouTube under Volcanara Technology Solutions. And join us for our next episode, which gets published every Wednesday at 8 a.m. All right, y'all. Have a good one. See you later.